For sure, Sue. We'll see exactly how this composition is working as we get on into the game. We're going into Haven, the first map of the day, Lothar. How are you feeling about this one, man? Because it's rare. Usually we get one, maybe two agents that are different. But here, you've got each team as the same Sentinel, the same Smoker, and then it all goes to hell.
Well, I really like what the Ballista has built here. Like, they have a very different approach to the game. Look at the setup right now. Also, C is completely open, right? They have 3 agents on A long. So, sorry, this is actually Honk. My bad. Anyway, we have a really cool setup from both teams to behold, and I really look forward to how they will like utilize all of the agents we're gonna have the clash of styles here.
Flash out immediately. They know there's someone close. Good night and sweet dreams to Trek's 4th highest rated player so far in this stage of challengers. But, well, we'll see how this game treats him. Immediately punished. They close in on the site and get control. There's still one on the back here. Mickey able to take down the first, but that's all he's good for. And now this is looking like it's going to be a Ballista favored pistol round at least. Honk not really in the best positions to get back in for the retake. And they started this one out. They had the recon dart down to see anybody cross A long, and well, let's
this is almost impossible to do, right? But they do start with 1 frag, and it goes 1 for 1, and unfortunately the round is over. I mean, you know, when you want to retake a site on Haven, you need a lot of utility. They had the Paranoia available, which is something that allows you to get some map control and get that space on the site. But the problem is they have no idea where someone is on the site. With 4 people, most likely someone's under Haven. Someone is on graffiti, someone's on A short, one is on long, so they have everything covered. So even when you'll get that 1 frag, because of the paranoia, you're gonna be in a crossfire. So it's such a tough situation for Honk to be in.
Yeah, no, there was very little chance of them making that one work. Immediate long aggression on this by Batty. I don't know, you're playing with a Ghost, but the support, that's where it comes in, the Phantom in hand. They know there's a player stuck on the right, and they have a very good idea that he's in the back corner. There's the swing and the kill, and QX even looking for a little bit more, but it's X'd off the list. Those players are safely back on site, and you could run into a crossfire, so they're likely to just keep control of this for a moment as they scout out a little bit more, and this is where the off-brand Sova comes into play, but sometimes the off-brand's a little bit better, you know? Tastes better. Has more sugar. And certainly in this one, Ballista's setup seems to be sweeter as they cleanly overrun the A site. And the only thing is, well, what does Omen have? What weapon has he got? It's not even shown us in the kill feed. Apparently he just killed him with his mind. But it's just a ghost, so it makes sense.
Maybe he just pummeled him to death.
Headbutt him.
Yeah, maybe. But I really like how Ballista approached this round. The cool combination of Phoenix and Jet being on long. One guy had a Phantom, the other had just a Ghost. If the Phantom player dies, he can just pick it up very quickly and then follow it up on the trade, which is very important. I feel like you can't, whenever you have a rifle in round 2, you cannot go alone. If you, by any chance, lose that gun, you can risk the entire round, which is basically a throwaway round for Honk, right? They're on the low button. But now, the first full buy for Honk, and it's super explosive again.
This long control is just consistently coming through now, and I think for Honk, when they manage to get out something like an operator, that's where things could take a turn for the worse for Ballista, but for now, they're overwhelming that control. And I do like in the previous round, you know, it was the Ghost of Phoenix taking contact, and then the Phantom behind it. This time, you're gonna have to do a little bit more with that Phantom, because the trade back is good. It's a good start to the round, or good recovery, rather, from Honk. Not gonna fumble it completely. They've got Killjoy utility, the lockdown, Garage, although still holding it. You know, at this point, they're basically playing retake for C, but Killjoy rotates in. Either way, they'll get the information. It's completely clear, but it comes at a cost. The A side is being overrun, and QX manages to make it up for one. Batty with the trade, and site control is theirs. Man advantage now as the retake looks to come in from Honk. And again, it's the same position. This is a carbon copy of the pistol round, except one less player for Ballista.
Exactly. Still Paranoia available, but no paranoia being used yet. He's waiting for his teammate to place the turret to get at least some informations, and now probably with this combination of smokes we're gonna see paranoia being used on site. Has to be, right? This is so risky.
Out they go, just taking the fights. Dreamhouse, he's good for one. The crossfire, always dangerous. And this time it's just a straight swing from Morphan that closes it out. A third round on the board for Ballista. They're looking strong to start this one off. And that was a buy round, remember. So at this point, HONK are having to go down to an eco. Maybe a little bit of a heavy buy there by Mickey, but it looks like they want to commit to a pretty strong dent into their economy. But it could have some reward. I mean, especially if they have a read on how that A side is being played, right? The very early aggression on long, maybe they adjust.
Well, so far we see that Sova is still sticking to the same A position on as always. Like Sean P just wants to use the recon arrow and just go back, but he's being flashed every single time and just flashed out of the position as well. Oh, he's baiting for that orb. He saw movement. He has to go back on side.
Yeah.
He's still alone though.
Well, you have that little bit of utility going out on A, fake the orb, that's perfect, right? You get the information on a round like this, you can take those little risks, but they're still so heavily stacked towards C. And so far, HONK have at most left a player lurking out on A, but look at how they've slowed this round down. They take control of long, they take short, and they have a player watching Garage. They have a player watching long. In fact, they're hoping that HONK try to take that information and try to play reactively to how the last 3 rounds have gone. That's really nice from Ballista. Really good game plan, as they don't see any reaction at this point. Now they've got to make a decision pretty much blind.
Literally.
Recalling my bot.
Good timing, wasn't it?
True. What I really like about this round is that Ballista, as you said, is taking the slower approach, right? But they don't show anything new. They just go on A side. They know it worked. Their opponents are on lower buy, so they have a high chance of just getting that execute and like even for free. Look at this. Well, no one actually died. Never mind.
So
that was through a smoke.
With Chomp falling, at this point, they lose a lot of the value that they need on this retake. You want to have your recon dart to go in and clear positions like down below. And if they had it, maybe Mickey would have been ready for 2. The drop doesn't get them anything, and Destrian is left all by himself, a Bucky in hand, and not a hope in hell. That is 4-0. Yeah, I love how Ballista react there, though. So they're like, okay, our opponents will probably make a read on us. If we show the bit of control on long, maybe they push Garage, or maybe they push C long, and we cut them off. That doesn't happen, so they say, screw it. We're just gonna go back to pushing A then. If you don't give us what we want, we'll take that site from you.
Yeah, that is correct. I love how they did it, because now they can actually mix it up. They can get something out of their playbook, which is completely different from the other 4 rounds that we have seen, and it's visible in the setup right now. Look at that. We have Phoenix and Omen and Killjoy setting up for a C long push. There's a smoke deep on C, which allows for an explosive execute on the side, because there's so much space that you can just go outside of the smoke, which I love. There's information now. Someone is sitting in the window. Ultimate from Volt is being used, gathering info, but he needs to go back. And in the meantime, we have an execute on C. They already have chicken control.
Yeah, the ult from Phoenix came in. They push towards the back. They get that control. Spike climb down, but it comes at a hefty cost. They've already lost a player. Treks in to try and get a little bit more. He didn't spot Kareem, but the trade was there. A 2 versus 2. Killjoy ult keeping them back. Shock Dart going in. Doesn't get the damage that it actually looked like it might have. And this one, I don't think it'll... Oh, never mind. That tickles him up nicely. Now down to 18 HP. The defuse halfway stuck. Not going to be fully as the swing comes in. Bold. He's so low. He knows the player isn't defusing it just yet as he goes out for the peak. Unfortunately, that will cost him his life, and plenty of time left to get the round on the board. The first for HONK now secured.
But it was still at what cost, right? Only 1 player lived through. They are very low on economy now. And look at this buy. This is going to be a very awkward buy. Small shields, probably losing on utility as well because of that. So it might be a little bit awkward. Mickey Boy on a Spectre. So he has to buy flashes. Without that, he's basically useless for the team, right? He has to have those flashes. This is why you play Breach. You have to need those 3 flashes every single round. What I really liked about this round, though, is that just Ballista takes his sites for free every single round. They get it for free. And then we see HONK playing retake, but they don't really play those retakes very well, to be honest. At least so far, from what we have seen. How they are setting up this attack this time. Look at that. Look at the lurk. Look at the lurk mid, but he is...
The change up here for the A side, they've actually droned out short now and fully cleared it, but I'm pretty sure Ballista have heard that. So if they know that the drone is cleared short, seeing nobody, Going back towards A makes a lot of sense, and that's exactly what they do. They're now presuming that there's going to be a player sat in a corner. That they're going to walk into someone and clear it out. They've made noise with their flash, but it's far enough away. And look, same thing as always. Out goes the wolf to get some info.
Yeah, and this is a clear tell for HONK to know what's happening, right? Unless it's a huge fake. But it's just an execute on A. And this time with the Killjoy ultimate as well, they have decided for free again. And HONK will go over the same pain every single round. They need to retake, but they are one player short.
That's so good. So the whole idea there was the Hunter's Fury. It stops them while you still have the Killjoy ult in play. So you stop them from planting. Then Mickey, who you could see was kind of playing on the edge of the ult, he comes in, he takes the kill. That's fantastic. Now they have a chance of getting in for this retake. But down to a 3v3. Oh, Mickey, no! He goes wide with the flash. But they still manage to pull it back. A 2 versus 2. Mickey's so low, but he can use his utility to support his friend. Needs a flash on sight, but it doesn't land. They had no idea Bold was there. He snuck around the side. He's really torn this round asunder, and Mickey with 9 HP. They stop the planter. Things kind of fall apart. Just really good positioning by Bold, who's on fire right now.
Yeah, he's playing that Sky so well. All the flashes hit, or even if they don't hit, you get the info. This is why they don't play Sova. They basically create space on sites with the flash. If there's a sound on it, there's the gong going off. You have a certainty that someone is on a specific angle. You can even use the hawk in a way that it clears only one angle, so you're certain of the information that you're getting. This is why Sky is such a cool character to play. And what I really like though is how they basically take the advantage that is playing, you know, Haven on an advantage with a player on attack, because the defenders always have a loss of map control if they have one player less than a default 5-player lineup.
One of the big benefits as well, if you compare the Wolf directly to the drone in how they're using it right now, they get to clear out close A long, immediately go back and clear all of short as well. You can't do that with a drone. That's certainly not in anywhere near the same time frame as you can with the Wolf. So that value, you can see it's bringing them, and then even further, this ultimate, we saw it used before to clear out Garage. This time it's going to be used to see if the side is a little bit open. It doesn't seem to be completely shut out by the Nanoswarm. The information now is a little bit too old to act on. They have to dash out and see what they can get done. They're going to move together, clear the turret, clear backside, and it's pretty much open for business. Now it's all about HONK setting up for that retake. They know that they're going to pretty much allow that plant, are they? Because they're just rushing forward to their deaths through a choke point. The CT spawn players hadn't even moved out yet. A little bit off on the synergy there. He's just killed him running, spraying while blind. Okay, cool. Nice little headshot.
I mean, this is not a running gun situation, guys. This is just pure luck, you know, pure luck. He was blinded. The crosser was not even close on him. This was actually how the game should work, right? The bullet was just so far away from his crosser. It just happens to be that there was a head there. So, quite unlucky. But I have to give credit where the credit is due, because Ballista is playing really well in attack, and HONK is playing scared. They're scared of the utility. The utility is just pushing them out of sights. You have seen that with the flashes from build. The ultimate, the jellyfishes, have so much impact. The Seekers are just giving map control for free. And it is like, I feel like this is the word of the game, free. Like, they get map control on the Haven for, like, with zero effort. HONK is just giving away everything of that, every single piece of map control. Double doors, free. Seaside, free. And you have certainty that no one is there, because the jellyfish, the Seeker, is not being activated. So, power of Sky is just so insane here.
Here we see it again, used to clear out long, but that information, it sells a bit of a false sense of security as DreamHack comes out and takes a quick kill just before the smoke blooms, or just as it does, but he got the info through it. Now to a 5v4, and for Ballista, you know, when you run into a little bit of a speed bump, let's just go back. Let's do what works. They've been taking this control consistently, and it makes sense they'll do the same again. Here comes the flash around the corner. They clear the close angle, and I presume the Wolf is going to be soon on its way to clear out short. At least that's what they've enjoyed doing so far. But it seems they want to avoid giving that information until they're ready to follow it out and burst into the site. Seeing now that it's entirely clear. So a plan should come through, and again, HONK gonna have to play that retake, but this time, they don't have to risk taking an early fight. They've got, oh, the shock dart and the fault line. Beautiful stuff. Nade afterwards as well. If that nade came in a second earlier, that's probably a kill.
Placing sentry. Spot planted. Satchel up.
At this point, looking to come on out. HONK, they posture up, they put in, oh no, the paranoia, but that was a little bit awkward. The peek out doesn't reward any kills. QXV up close, good for one. The dash not going to get him away in time, not even close. He manages to find one before going down.
First very successful retake from HONK, but this one was enabled because they basically had everything available, right? They got a kill without any usage of utility on Long C, on Phoenix. Because of that, they actually were able to play less scared. Batty had his ultimate ready because he was going for the orb, so that would have been a huge play last round, but they had a combination of all the utility, shock darts to delay the plant, paint shells to delay the plant, then the recon arrow and all the flashes. So this was actually a, let's say, an easy round for HONK to get that round win. But at the same time, they're still a little bit on the back foot, because if they lose one round, they're gonna be looking at worse economy than the opponents. While BALLISTA still is super rich.
Scout destroyed.
It's the benefit of having so many clean rounds as well, right? As you said, it was the first successful retake they really had, because in the one where they had one player left alive before that, and any of the others, they've been losing the rounds relatively cleanly. So yeah, a lot of cash for BALLISTA. HONK not in the same boat. It's tough. The approach here is a little bit questionable to me. You know, they leave all control of a site which so far, at least by my count, what, 4 times, BALLISTA have walked onto that site without a single engagement. I suppose it says how confident they are in that Killjoy ultimate to really lock down the round. No pun in, well, no, I'll be honest, the pun was intended. The ult goes into heaven, they take control, and now they've got the A site. They'll go in for the plant, but look at Killjoy already in position, waiting to pop down that lockdown.
I feel like this is the moment where HONK realize that they cannot really battle BALLISTA on side A because of all of the utility. They also have the Killjoy ultimate available, so they can push out everyone from side or just wait for their push on CT. And right now, Mikoboy is opening with a kill. There's the push for the Killjoy's utility. It's being destroyed by the Phoenix ult, so no risk there, and they can stay on side and defend.
Yeah, that's a major thorn in the side now for HONK, but they managed to find a kill, so they'll still go for this. 100% drop down. Trex, the double that opens it, that might make this round possible. Chomp wants to go through and take the defuse, but his teammates dropped. He has to force the fights now. Finds one, knows where the second player is. He's going to start the defuse to bait them into the open, get it halfway. Here comes the peak. The timing a little off, but bold. He hits the shot just in time, and although he will perish, you'll trade that life for a 7th round. BALLISTA securing it, and really, it's that push through. If Batty doesn't make that ult and run through spawn, they probably don't get away with that round anywhere near as cleanly as they did.
Yeah, that Phoenix ultimate was the MVP basically of the round. As you mentioned, this is the crucial focal point of the round where the lockdown is not being activated. And by the way, BALLISTA did have their own Killjoy lockdown available just in case something really goes badly, so they could just still play time on it. And now we're gonna see a low buy from HONK. Not a surprise. You can see a setup in long with 2 players with shorties just waiting for BALLISTA to attack, but this is something that we have seen BALLISTA do before. They just wait on those eco rounds. They don't have to take those risks. They can just wait. When their opponents get impatient, they will push a little bit, and they can just get an advantage. And look at that! Look at this!
That's a nasty angle. We even had a flash go out mid as well. Phoenix peeked it. I heard it, didn't so much see it. He flashed out, peeked it, made sure nobody was pushing down double doors or middle. These little bits of information on eco rounds, not allowing yourself to get blindsided potentially by pistols, is ultimately what can give you wins in games, in close games at least. Stop those upsets happening. Batty was in a little bit of danger, and they commit the ultimate here. I mean, they have a couple of ults to play with, so fair enough. Just to make sure they get that information, they'll push towards the A site. The only question is, never mind. There's no question anymore because Trex is gone. They're clearing out the site. They get the plant, and that's very, very nicely handled eco, or anti-eco rather, for BALLISTA.
It's crucial to not lose any members, even if it doesn't matter much to your economy. It matters a lot to your opponent's economy, because look at that. 2 shorties still available which is basically useless at that range right now after the nerf. And not a single kill allows to punish your opponents to not have good ultimate economy, right? Because now they're gonna be just sitting on the same amount of economy that they had before. And also, they don't get any kind of bonus for the frags, which is 200 credits per each kill. So an example, those shorties are basically spent cash for nothing, which is very important. Look, HONK is at 0. 4 players are at 0 cash.
That's it's not ideal. They have 300 credits between them. That's they can barely get themselves a boom bot.
Yeah. And now this round, we have 2 rounds left. But even if Ballista doesn't win this one, but kills 4 players, they break them again. They're gonna be having a low buy or a forced buy basically, right? And for the last round, which will not be ideal, especially for defense on Haven. I really love how Ballista is playing this side of the map.
The thing is about this long take, they're not even worried. Like, one of the traditional issues you have when pushing down that early is like, what if they counter it by putting an op there? Well, then he gets blinded. Like, there's no way for them to really maintain the control, and you can see HONK have just accepted that. They're just going to play super passive and give up control of that side of the map, but Dreamass is happy to fight in for short, and he takes a kill there, despite losing a lot of his HP. That information that he can hold by just tucking in the corner and peeking off the flashes as he does is perfect. Eventually, he'll cross back over and play for sight. Of course, his utility here, even if he can get his turret down, and he already has an alarm bot for long, is crucial for keeping control. So there's no need for him to peek. But really, the question is more so on Ballista. Did they still go for their A take? It's what they've done so far. When they don't get control elsewhere on the map and nothing goes their way, they go to A. But the only difference here is that they're not about to run into one player or no players as it has been in the past. There's 2 postured and ready to take this defense. QX deals with them very quickly and just about manages to dodge out on being taken down by Hunter's Fury. Then healed up to 100. All they need to do now is plant the spike, which they can do because the Hunter's Fury is gone. But QX takes a direct hit from a shock dart, and, well, so does Bold to the face. Oh man, but what a convincing retake right away. They just take the 2 kills. It's you blink and you miss it. Morphin's got to do it all. There's 1 player in heaven is low and dealt with right away, but not enough to get all 4. That would have been a tough task and a tall order, and too tall for him. HONK takes it to 3.
Yeah, this was a great retake, but they were actually having an advantage. Both of the shock darts did also did so much damage before the retake even was happening. Right then, the accidental lineup while being blinded by the paranoia happened. But I would say Ballista still should be happy about the outcome of the round because basically they did hurt the economy a little bit. Look at Sean P. Small shield, 0 cash available, so he's probably playing like with all of his utility, but with the small shields, that is a little bit annoying. And what you mentioned, HONK was never allowed to play an op because of the way how the rounds just chained. They never had the economy. Even if they would have the op, they would have to basically forget any retakes because they have to save that op. Otherwise, they lose so much economy.
They changed it up this time for A control, but Ballista go towards C. Into the back of the site, Batty gets himself a nade down, but shot in the face by Destrian. Doesn't do anything with the flash afterwards, and QX tries to clear out backside. He deals with Trex and forces the other back because he's low HP. So that's the control for now. Attacker Killjoy ultimate goes down. That's the lockdown in effect. Rolling Thunder, they want to get in here right now and deal with it, but will they be able to? QX Bold, they're holding on strong, and it seems like they're running headfirst into a wall. HONK get forced back. They even get detained, and Bold is on the hunt. Does he look in spawn? Yes, he does, and just in time, around the corner they go. Ballista, 9 rounds on the attack. What an absolutely stellar first half for this Polish team.
That is true, but now they have to prove that they play as well on defense as they do on attack, and that is gonna be a huge task, let's say like that. I feel like HONK is also a better team on attack than on defense, so while just looking at the stats, they do actually perform better on attack on most maps, especially on Icebox, but that we didn't see and will not see because it's banned. But HONK has terrible defense on Icebox, and I feel like this is why they did ban it.
I wonder, you look at how things have gone, I really feel for HONK, because even in that final round, we saw them try to adjust a little bit. They went for Destrian pushing up through short, 2 players peeking long, but possibly with an op, I'm not 100% sure. So they were trying to take that A control and proactively beat down what Ballista were trying or succeeding at taking every single round, but it didn't work out. Now this push down middle, 3 players coming up behind. They're going to catch the end of the train as Trex falls, but the rest of the team is now ready for that. Doesn't give them a whole bunch of information, but the smokes landing on A certainly give it away. That flank is going to be worried about, though. This is the thing. They've got utility down to deal with it. They're committing 2 players towards looking behind. HONK are very much aware of the control that they've lost, and whoops, even more so with the alarm bump, but Batty hits a very crispy shot. They don't know that Mickey's up close. The dash, though, gets the info, and the trade right away. This is looking clean as can be. HONK deleted, and that is double digits for Ballista. A really strong start to this half now, being just 3 away from closing it out.
I love the discipline. Really love the discipline on this team. After they got the kill, the initial kill, the first blood on spawn basically, right? On Raze. They didn't push. They didn't make noise. They actually faked that they're going back, which is the natural thing to do as a team, right? You got a kill, they know where you are, you want to change your position, you want to fall back, go on the side, try to retake it from your CT side. Right? From your own spawn on A, because that's where the plant is going to be. But they actually faked it out, then went back, and then we could have seen the synergy between the characters, the flash from Phoenix, the dash getting the info. Really cool stuff from Ballista.
It's gorgeous to look at. No, those are the kind of rounds that we want to see. Just grouping up as a team, moving together on that retake. Both players spotted just about. Bold got that information. That's pretty big. They knew already that someone was taking the orb, but on that, it's where you would see a lot of teams go for like aggression up A long or through short, try and just pincer in those teams and take as much control as you can. That's typically when a Sova's playing A though, and because they've got a Phoenix here, I'm a really big fan of how they're playing it. Look, the alarm bot is down, and as soon as that gets popped and sees somebody or even destroyed, flash comes around and you're in trouble.
Yeah, and then also what is very important, Bold did get the info that they forced. Their opponents are playing on SMGs. They have to be prepared now for that, and because of that, I feel like they can get different angles.
Oof. That's a bit of a tanky hit to take there for Batty. A lot of armor stripped off him. He did pop the flash around, I believe, but he waited a minute. Unfortunately, the reaction of HONK as soon as the alarm bot go, he knows there's a player here. He knows he blinded someone, but he presumes it's further down mid, so down he goes. DreamHack with a 50-50, shall we say, that works out perfectly. Morphin gets spotted, gets a kill from it, but they are going to have to fight in for the retake. And versus this force buy, the economies are pretty equal. This is going to be a tough one to deal with, considering the fact that you don't have a lot in play right now. All smokes are gone. Morphin's already used his up. He's got a paranoia, and that's going to be the key point of that push. Player about to come through the smoke. Paranoia slows him. But that's Sova. He's the big one. He's the one that could get away with murder. Still on the site. They have no idea. And there he goes. In with one that could save the round. Shump puts the recon down, confirms that side is clear. They know exactly where he is, and they're just playing with their food right now. The paranoia caps him. He can't peek long. 5 bullets left. No time to reload. No space to do so. Down to a classic, and this round is done and dusted. Batty can't even get away. I don't know if Shump's going to get out with that.
He shouldn't be able to.
No, he's not.
He didn't recover that Vandal, unfortunately, but this is some funny stuff. Charlie Chaplin style.
It's unlucky, man. He clears right, but not left. And, I mean, really, the corner that he was in, I feel like not a lot of players would be tucked in that corner.
Yeah. Especially when, I mean, this is something that you can also think about. He was there with a Spectre, right? And the barrel of the gun is not really that long. If that would have been a Phantom, probably would have been seen. But with a Spectre, you can hide a little bit more. And now, an aggressive push on A-Long from Ballista. Not much noise. They're just gathering control. Which is very cool because we see HONK playing the way that Ballista did play against Eco. They're just waiting for them.
I like the smoke there from Jet. It just buys you a lot more misinformation. Like, that player can't take fights cleanly. They push right up afterwards, grab a kill to Mickey. At this point, if you're HONK, take C site and try to get away is the name of the game. Look how low some of these players are, but that's where Bold comes into effect. He can heal back up to close to 100 at least. has to give it up as he's pushing on through and holding the angle. 9 HP. Both of his teammates, no armor, relatively low as well. This should be a clean one for HONK. It would be a big play for Ballista to recover it. And really, look at Sova in spawn. That's a backstab if ever I've seen one. Chomp able to take the kill for free. Shock dart going through, forces him into the open, and maybe a little bit of overcommitment is the only thing. I don't think he quite needed to swing wide like that, but I guess he thought his teammate would do the same.
Now, I was a little bit worried about Sean P not peeking earlier, because it could have been possible that Build would actually get a kill on site, which would open a lot of possibilities as well. And but fortunately for HONK, Sean P did actually peek that spawn angle at some point and did get the kill. But now, 5 to 10, this is still a very big task ahead of HONK. And looking at the utility, I mean, Ballista has everything, but they are looking at low economy if they're not going to win this round. They play aggressive on long C this time. The wolf goes in. The Tasmanian tiger, sorry, not a wolf. And they go fall back on site. This is actually pretty cool because they did get the drone out of Sean P already, which is important. They didn't see Omen. Oi! XQV with the headshot, 19 HP. He needs to heal. Now we probably will see a rotation from Sky, but she cannot do that yet. They have to commit to the side. Flash from Nicky Boy opens up some options, but they have been countered by other flashes from Sky.
That site's just overrun and overtaken. Plant to come in. The retake, though, is quite feasible. Yeah, they might go for this because Phoenix has got the ultimate to play with, and he's clearing out. There's no one here, okay, but has to be worried about someone coming from behind, so that's not an ideal spot to ult in. Right here in the corner, though, his teammate could cover him. He could run them down. This is possible. Wall goes up. He's going to go in for the defuse first, maybe a bit of body blocking, and of course his ult would heal him up afterwards. Has hot hands. He's just defusing it, guys. They're not even spraying through. What's just happened? Did they miss the sound cue? They thought maybe it was halfway. Either way, Batty gets away with murder defusing behind his wall. I'm waiting this whole time for a reaction, and there was none. They just let him.
I was actually thinking that maybe Batty goes for a ultimate defuse, just pop his ultimate and just get the defuse while not risking dying. But he just went for crazy good timing as well, because he was out in the open for what, 200 milliseconds, 300 maybe. It was almost perfectly timed. Very well played from Batty.
And also from his teammate, because the thing is, he's defusing on the very, well, it depends what way you're looking, right? But from his perspective, left side of the spike, the closest side. So his teammate doesn't need to cover all of long, because they can't hit him from all of long. They can only hit him from the very, back right and that kind of angle. So you see Killjoy, the whole time, basically the breach, he peeked out from his little cubby and was spraying, but he couldn't see him from there. So they weren't worried about that. And it meant that, obviously, they can just buy so much more time that way by not taking a 1vx and just a 1v1. Really nicely done. Ballista, it's not the kind of round that you need at that point, is it? They were already up 10-5, but now they've hit 11, one step closer to victory.
Yeah, and HONK is preparing an execute on A. Minky Boy, though, gathers some informations, will open up the site with one of his flashes, but does not follow up yet from his team. Only the Omen is getting control under heaven, but he dies to Batty while jumping down. Oh, that's unlucky.
Huge pick for Ballista. In a round like this for HONK, they've lost so much control already. They know there's players behind them. Pushing forward is risky, but they have to defend their back as well. Dreamus, he's grabbing himself one before going down. It's not the lifeline they needed. Someone needs to step it up big and bold. Unfortunately, seems to be the one doing that, further diminishing HONK's chances. Hot hands go down, stop anybody from peeking out, and at this point, they can just go for that defuse if they want to. They know the Trex can't get it. It looked like everybody wanted the stats, though. They were trying to get the kill.
Man, KDA players.
But look, even though they don't defuse it halfway and they lose a couple of seconds, the round's theirs easy.
I have to say, this round was a little bit unlucky for HONK. Destron dying while jumping down from the balcony? That's kind of unlucky. And then we have seen Bolt getting a kill through the crate as well. Also a bit of unluckiness for HONK, but I felt like they were not coordinated well enough for that A execute. Mickey Boy did flash sight, but there was no follow-up. There was no one on site apart from Destron. We have seen Trax being on A short, but very, very far away. from the side itself. He still didn't clear like entire A short. They didn't know what's happening. So it was a little bit messy, and I feel like that could have been the reason why we don't see 6 on the scoreboard for HONK. Oh, nice monkeys.
There was a... do you know, I've never even noticed them before. There's so many little details on this map, on every map in Valorant. It's unbelievable.
I do. Look at the Phoenix being tucked in.
Yeah.
Shot. We didn't see that before.
It's a similar setup to Long, just reversed, right? They have the alarm bot there. He doesn't even flash around. He just straight peeks it. I wanted to deal with that Killjoy ultimate, but it's not going to happen. The back corner, that's the one place the players can really be and pose a threat, but they get distracted by the turret. Perfect timing there for Kareem to at least pick up one. 3 versus 3, a retake to be attempted. Hunter's Fury online and QXV in the right position to try and shut this down. There's a headshot, beautifully done, and this player is so low. QXV on the hunt, around he goes, a headshot to finish it, and there we go. That's all she wrote. 13-5. Ballista in with an insanely dominant game to start this best of 3 off.
I might be a little bit biased because, you know, they're Polish. It's a full Polish team. But I'm a really big fan of how the team plays.